Been a while since I've done a green look. Okay, this is where we're heading, but I am gonna try my best to keep it a little bit more tame. Y'all know how feral I can get. Ooh, that already dried. That was my fault. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And then I'm going to, there we go. And then we'll use this shade as a base. And anytime you already have a nice warm transition kind of built into green, it's gonna be a little less scary. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try my best and I'll end up with the glitter cut crease here. But where I have this is already gonna take me to a little bit more of a wearable state, if you will. I want to use both of these palettes. I'm actually going to start with this one and add just a little bit more depth here. Perfect. Using the side of the brush, press that into the base. Now I don't want you to feel like you're in a hurry, but if you hustle just a little bit, you can press this shadow into this not so fully dried liquid shadow, and it just makes it really, really nice and smooth and even a little bit more pigmented. And before we move on, I'm gonna grab this shade, grab it on the tip of the brush, build up the socket. I want this look to be a little bit more smoky, so we're not gonna have to carve or do any of that. But let's make sure we get this really nice and built up. Now I do feel like I'm already overcomplicating it because I'm using two different eyeshadow bases, but this one is gonna be so much better for shimmers. I'm even gonna put matte here, but it's just so much better. So anytime you have something that's clear, like the one I'm using right now, it really makes everything more intense. E27, and we're gonna grab this shade. Let's start to place that out here. Oh, that's so pretty. If you hear that, that's my mom getting ice. And I feel like what I'm about to show you is a really good hooded eye tip. Do you see how that's kind of angling down? No, I do not have completely hooded eyes. I will always say that before I continue to teach you. But I do understand the difference in between hidden folds and everything just kind of, see how it just gets completely hidden? It's beautiful, by the way. But when you have an exposed area, if you can take a small amount of shadow, does not have to be green, but I feel like the green shows up really nicely. And we just kind of take it and always think of an angle. Think about coming at your temple, the highest part of your temple with your shadow, and you automatically just get a little bit of lift to the eye. See what that little bit of difference can do? See how this one kind of feels like it's turned down? Also beautiful. I love playing with eye shape. There is no right or wrong. I just always love to give you ideas and demonstrations, because sometimes I would even completely bring this down and then reshape it from underneath here. I get wild, but I feel like this is a really, really easy way to kind of understand how to get a little lift to the eye without struggling with wing liner and such. A little bit of this shade, that's gonna go next to the darker one. And then this shade, look at how pretty this shade is. That is gorgeous. I don't think I want to do any liner, so I'm just going to sharpen this up and kind of create liner out of it. I feel like I reach for this non-stop. I'm going to do a little tight line with it right now. Some of it might actually get on my waterline, but that's not the goal. It is to get in between the lashes and just give some depth there. But I feel like this is really nice and creamy and really easy to work with. See that difference through there? Isn't that fun compared to this side? It's such an easy way to add depth. Now I'm gonna do my foundation off camera, so I thought we could do a little bit more of a deep dive on the self-adhesive lashes. So I have them here on my hand. They kind of look a little spooky. But what I'm doing is I'm really warming up that band and that glue, because yes, if we just stick them on our hand, the body heat is gonna activate the glue. But I find them so much easier to put on if you really work around that band. So here's our lash. You're gonna notice it's shorter here, more flared here. This is just the style that I prefer. I always love something that has more flare at the end. It gives a little bit more lift, and kind of angles upwards without having to ever do liner. So that is another benefit for me. You can tell I like a cat eye. I like cats. So when you grab it from the center, it's going to make contact with the part of your eyeball that sticks out the furthest. So that's why I always recommend grabbing from the center here. So don't worry about this. I'm letting it kind of get comfortable with my eye shape. We're gonna go, I also made sure that this mascara is nice and dry. That way it doesn't mix with the glue. That's so important. Ooh, look at that, nice. I also love the self-adhesive because I don't even have to worry about it getting on my clampers here. I still do lashes with kind of traditional glue, but these have spoiled me because they're just not messy. They're fantastic to me. I love them so much. Okay, so I need to pull it over here a little bit, and then I'm just gonna keep pushing it on that part that's sticking out the furthest. So next, I work on the outer part, and even if I have to lift it up, that's okay, because it's so stuck right here in the middle. It has something to grip onto. Then I'm gonna start to clamp it onto the skin. Hang on, I need you to see it. It's going on the skin right above my lashes, and that's for any type of lash, okay? Now, I love that I don't have to keep wiping them off. I know it's a little repetitive, but it's such a big deal. I'm gonna look over here. See how I lifted that? That's so I can really make sure that I can make it make contact with my skin. Then I kind of just clamp it. These are crucial, by the way. Get you some lash applicators. And I say that for any type of lash. Okay, there you go. Then as it warms up, I'm just gonna adjust and clamp, adjust and clamp. Vanessa Myricks Color Fix Sticks. This is shade 10. I have an idea. So one side is this kind of metallic black situation. I'm gonna throw that on, and remember that goes on kind of wet, and then I'm gonna grab the dark green, and I'm gonna melt this together. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, and then before we stop here, I'm gonna take this side, which is more of a, well, there it is. See how it has a little bit of that green in there? I'm gonna throw that on, and that's what's gonna be under. That's so sparkly. I have to stop myself. I would just start screaming and squawking like a bird. That is gorgeous. Now let's do our bottom lash mascara. Now, I know most of us can't just look up and do mascara. I'm not even looking into anything, but I find that once I trusted myself enough to do that, I feel that I had less mess ups, because by looking up, just like when an artist is doing our makeup, we have less in the way. Don't practice that. Be careful. Let's do a green waterline. I love this one because it's a smoky green. It's from Stila. The shade is called Cypress. So pretty. So I repurchased this Wonder Skin lip stain kit, and I wanted to do my glowing lip. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I feel like we haven't done it in a while. And some of you might know what I'm talking about. Some of you might think, what in the heck are you talking about? But just bear with me here. Let's get our lip stain on. It does require a lip stain. Also want to mention that I had, I think, the very first version of this, and I didn't like it as much, but this is already going on so much better. I'm very excited for this. Now we're gonna let this completely dry. And Sheila, oh, that's so much easier. Okay, I remember it being way more messy. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, we got our perfect little pink lip. Okay, this is so much better. I can't remember if I've used this or not. I feel like I did, but then I don't remember. This is the NYX lip liner, the stain. Oh. Perfect color for this. I always like to use a red brown, and I feel like it just looks so nice. Okay, I'm just gonna keep shaping and building this up. Oh, this is shade Up All Night. Now let's turn into lip art. Not really. I'm gonna take a whisper of MAC Chestnut and just go around the edges just for extra contrast and for overlining purposes. So I think this color is going to be perfect. You see, I love makeup so much. This is the shade Cherub from Unearthly Cosmetics, and I normally do this with gloss, but I thought this was going to be so pretty. Oh wow. All right, my friends, I love you with all of my heart. Thanks for putting up with my glittery antics. We have fun. All right, love you. Bye for now.